Give you beautiful, beautiful gardens.
I actually used to fertilize I used to dethatch my lawn with old cases of Miller Lite and things that people would leave
Yeah,
at my house for
yeah,
parties.
yeah. It's got a lot of nitrates in it, a lot of amino acids, a lot of
Uh-huh.
vitamin B, and I talked about that last night. I've got a lot of buddies who do those overnight fishing stuff, and when they come back, there's always like, there he is. Is that a blunt? Is that a Be Legit? You sure that's
No,
full of fish and there's some blood and guts or whatever? They throw them in their garden because it's like the natural source to pretty much fish fertilizer, and it's just packed with so much nitrogen that he's like, I've never had more beautiful roses in my garden than fish blood.
Wow.
Gut
Hey.
wrench. What does everybody do with their spent grains? I have a crazy spent grain story, but I just have to throw mine out. That's a good question though. What does everybody do with their spent grains? I want to know.
I used to. I used to. Well, I still have a composter bin that you can throw stuff in, but it got contaminated with some fungus from some tree nearby, and it's
That
been
happens
forever tainted.
fast. That happens
So,
fast.
Yeah, so I quit using that tumbler, and now I just dump my spent grains in the corner of my garden until they cool down, and they rake them in, and they just meld into the soil eventually. I mean, it takes a month or two, but
Yeah, it takes some rain and some monsoon, but it happens eventually. Jacqueline, I have chickens that love them. Yeah, if you have livestock, I know pigs will love the shit out of it, the crap out of it, literally. But when I was working at breweries back in my prime, back in my heyday, we would have farmers pick it up, and they would just you have to have the right guy come and pick up a ton of pounds of grain. But maybe 4 or 5 times a year, they'd bring us back a pig, and we could have a giant pig, and it would be delicious. And it's just different if you're a home brewer. If you want to make dog treats, you really don't need that much. If you've got a farm, it's going to be worth it. Chickens love it. Pigs love it. Dave Dempster says compost. Jules Game Art, what's up, Raj? If you have chickens and you freeze the grain, it's a nice treat on a hot summer day. That's why I love YouTube, because you learn more from the chat, as with I do from the Homebrew for Life videos, than you can sometimes from the actual video, because nobody knows everything. I don't care if you've been brewing for 20 years or you're an extract brewer, or you've got a $25,000 system. You don't know everything, and one little comment could be a skill that you could have for life, or just alter some way you did it. And that goes for even outside of home brewing or something. You see oil change or mechanic stuff, and you're just like, damn, the guy in the comment section just like knew what he was talking about.
Wow.
My pigs
see.
love spent grain.
yeah, I see. Brian said he leaves it in his basement overnight.
He's what?
I've actually, Brian said he leaves his spent grains in the. It's like don't leave it in your house overnight.
Yeah.
I've actually done that when I had a late night brew night or something. I was too tired to go out in the dark and try to dump them somewhere.
Yeah.
I would just leave it in my garage even. But even in the morning, you come out here and it's already fermenting or something, or it smells just rank. Oh yeah, it's not good.
I got a really weird story. So when I remember the Home Depot mash tun coolers, like the 10-gallon ones.
Mm-hmm.
So the lids don't seal airtight; they get snug. But I remember this was probably years ago, and I left all of the grain in the mash tun, and I put the lid on it, and I got probably drunk that day, and I forgot that. I just assumed it was clean or whatever, and for whatever reason, it sat in my garage for about a week with spent grain. When I came back and I opened up the lid, I saw a million of those small little mealworms in there, and I saw them moving, and I just took off running. Like, my first instinct was like, was that a snake? Or like, what the fuck? And I just ran. I came back and I was like, how did those get there? There's like a little bit of sunlight, or there's no sunlight. There's just a little bit of oxygen that can get in here. How did worms come from this? Flies?
I don't know. I mean,
Abracadabra? There was like a million of them, like from Friday the 13th when they dig up a grave and there's mealworms going through the skull and stuff like that. It was like that. And I was like, holy shit, that was the most scared I've ever been.
that's pretty
Probably.
freaky.
Yeah,
That's
but like,
nasty.
where the hell black soldier flies love spent grains? Okay. They are beneficial flies that actually repel the flies we all hate. I think Trent's drinking a Snapple right now, and that was under the cap.